heard the phrase digital transformation so often that at times it risks becoming just another business buzzword. But in reality, digital transformation is no longer optional. It's the very foundation on which future ready enterprises are being built. And here's the important part, it's not just about adopting new technologies or launching mobile apps, it's about fundamentally rewiring the way businesses create value for their customers, employees, and stakeholders at scale. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Analytics Insight podcast, where we decode the future of business, technology, and everything in between. And I'm your host, Priya Dayalani. Now, but here's the catch, transformation that isn't scalable is just a pilot, it's just experimentation. And today's competitive landscape doesn't reward experiments, it rewards outcomes. So, the real question becomes not if organizations should transform, but how they can do it in a way that scales sustainably, adds measurable value, and most importantly, puts the customer at the center of that journey. So let's welcome Nishant Rathi, founder of Neosoft, to give more insights on this. Hi Nishant, how are you doing?
Priya, thanks for having me. Doing fine. I hope you're doing well as well.
Great. I am doing well too. Thank you so much. And it's a pleasure to have you with us on a podcast today, Nishant. Of course, we are going to talk about, digital transformation and everything around it. And of course, how you can probably scale your business while transforming your business digitally. I think that's a very crucial point that most of the organizations fail to understand. So I'm sure your insights would help them to, plan their digital transformation journey more effectively and efficiently. Before we get deeper into our discussion today, first we would like to know more about Neosoft. So, if you could help us understand more about the company, its specialization, or any particular solution the company is offering.
Thanks. So Neosoft has transformed over time. Today we call ourselves as a global digital accelerator. Have been in business for over 30 years now and have been through various cycles of technology adoption, technology change, and today cloud, AI, machine learning adoption as we speak. So we're a software company by heart. We are innovating year on year. We're innovating quarter on quarter to make sure we can bring the right solutions and services in front of customers and also add value to their current software development life cycles, current products, or current digital transformation journeys. We have a team of close to 4,000 people spread across 9 different delivery centers in India. About 30-35% of our business today comes from India, and the rest, the other 65% comes from the rest of the world, starting from the US, Middle East, Africa, Asia Pacific, Singapore specifically, and Australia. The reason why I mention about the 65% is because we get a lot of interesting, innovative opportunities which come our way, which we then bring to India, or that experience is used for our customers in India and doing even more innovative stuff. So all in all, we're a digital accelerator. We're a software technology solutions provider and working on various spaces starting from AI, ML, cloud services, cybersecurity, enterprise app development, and UI, UX to name a few.
That's a great overview, and thank you for helping us understand about Neosoft. We're glad to know that we will be able to call you as a global digital accelerator, helping organizations around the world to accelerate their digital transformation journeys and initiatives. And really interesting to hear how the company is positioned in this space, especially given how the landscape is evolving altogether. Moving ahead, Nishant, we would like to talk about you. I mean, you have nearly 30 years of experience and you have been on this incredible journey of building businesses, solving problems, and creating impact. So, could you tell us more about yourself? How has your journey been till date? And what exactly is your role and contribution towards the company?
Absolutely. So when we began, I'm all of 44 today. When we began 29 years and some months ago, I was 15. Started this with my brother, who's 2 years elder. At that point in time, we were executors. So we would get web design projects, we would get web hosting assignments where we were hosting websites, building websites for people, hosting those websites, providing them with email accounts. And over time, the business is transformed into a data center business called WebWorks, which we recently exited, bought out by Iron Mountain. And the other side, the web design business transformed into Neosoft, which is today, like I said, a global accelerator and a software development company. So the role's been changing over time, but there's one thing which stays on, and that is creating strategy and creating a journey ahead to make sure that we can provide solutions to customers. And we call ourselves partners to the customers because we want to be a part of the entire journey. So, from a role standpoint, strategy is one piece. The other side comes as sales and delivery. So, while I manage the entire business, I have a great team of people managing operations, delivery, recruitment, etc., which I've built over time. Essentially, adding value to, or rather, filling in the gaps as a founder to places in the organization which come up from innovation, or which come up time to time depending on what the organization needs me to do. At this point in time, strategy is what I would focus on. Sales strategy or tech strategy or innovation, and finally, obviously, making sure I find the right talent for the next level of Neosoft. So that's pretty much what my roles and responsibilities are at the moment.
Lovely. Thanks for sharing that, Nishant. And it's always interesting and curiosity. I have this curiosity to understand how leadership roles like yours can really translate into real and tangible impact, not just within the organization, but also in the broader industry. And the way you describe about your contributions highlights not just strategic intent, but also the execution mindset that you need in terms of driving meaningful progress. So thank you for sharing that. And, it's a great foundation for where we are headed in this conversation.
One more thing I want to add, and this is a message for all the leaders who are listening to this. As a leader, as a manager, the most important thing that we do is trying to identify people who can pick up your responsibilities and help you scale. And that becomes one of the most important tasks that we do. We don't realize, but we end up doing is finding talent who can pick up your responsibilities and basically create a pathway for the organization to scale and grow. One person can only do that much, but a team of 5 can do that much more. And therefore, essentially, should be the role for all leaders, looking and not sitting in their box and controlling what they do, but making sure they bring in and train talent and select talent which is better than them to keep transforming and growing and scaling their organizations.
Yeah, definitely. I think you've highlighted a very a crucial aspect in terms of an entrepreneurial journey, and what leaders should keep in mind in terms of growing their business. I think that was pretty much needed, and I'm sure that our listeners would definitely take this as a meaningful insight for their further journey as a leader in their respective organizations. So, moving ahead, I think when we're talking about digital transformation, so change is no longer a seasonal event, it's the status quo. For decision makers tasked with leading digital transformation, scalability isn't a nice to have anymore. It's a foundation of survival and growth. So, scalability ensures organizations to adapt to the demands of a fast evolving world. Now, this is where the true power of a digital transformation, scalability, agility solutions approach comes in. Because without scalability, even the most innovative transformations crumble under the weight of growth. So, how do you define scalability when it comes to digital transformation, and what do you think are the key enablers for it?
Absolutely. So, for the listeners, there's one thing which we all do today online, and that is go and buy on an Amazon or a Flipkart. And I'm not promoting these, but we go and buy stuff from these places. The reason why these platforms are so successful is because they've been able to create a scalable model. And while buying something could be 2 clicks away or 3 clicks away, or 3 clicks on your phone, but there's an entire process at the back which is integrated both from an operational perspective, infrastructure perspective, which seamlessly integrates the entire platform. So whether they have, that the big sale day which they have during August, where there are millions of people from India who buy stuff, and seamlessly, I think the error ratio is probably nothing. It's probably 0.001% of the deliveries don't reach on time, but the others get delivered purely because of their platform. So coming to scalability, every organization has to make sure that the platform they're creating is scalable, no matter what the size of their or what the growth of their business is going to be. And for that, the key enablers are, for example, cloud. Cloud deploying your infrastructure on cloud, deploying your applications on cloud allows you to expand seamlessly. So cloud is one of the enablers, making sure that you have automation in the entire platform using DevOps, and making sure that applicants are seamlessly integrated with each other is the second enabler, which I feel is very important. And with the examples that I've given from the e-commerce websites or the shopping websites which we're shopping on, scalable data platforms, because there's so many users who are going to be accessing your application. There's going to be, with AI again, there's going to be so many data requests which will keep coming on board to your data, that making sure that your data platform is scalable becomes a very important enabler. Having agile delivery models, now this is a very interesting concept, because you don't know what you're building when you start off. You probably have a 30-40% idea which you call as 100% foolproof POC or a fully completed application. But when you go into time and you start building that application, a couple of weeks or a couple of months into time, you realize there's so much more to be done. So you add that to the entire component, and then you keep adding more and more features into your applications. So for that, an agile delivery model becomes essential, so that you have the same set of people who understand the business, who understand the application, who also understand the entire journey. They began the journey with you. They know what the journey looks like, and where potentially is the end. And therefore the delivery model, I feel, is the most important thing. And finally, and most importantly, having strategic partnerships and also talent development. So having partnerships with certain, whether it's OEMs or platforms, or it may be an AI tool like ChatGPT which could be used. So having partnerships with these kind of ready to use components can be a very important enabler as well in your entire journey. Similarly, talent development. So when I say talent development, talent, and we'll go back to the software developer. When we began 30 years ago, we would write code. We like literally open notepad and write code and keep compiling it. Today that doesn't need to be done. There are enablers which where the developer can write the same amount of code, or rather same amount of code in probably 1/10 the time or 1/100 the time, because there's a tool which allows them to do that. Now talent has to be trained to use these tools to their advantage, which I feel is again an important enabler in your entire digital transformation journey. So pretty much, I feel these are the 4-5 enablers which, if an organization keeps in mind, or if a leader keeps in mind, he will be able to transform his entire journey. He'll be able to create a journey which is meaningful and will give him results and solve a pain area at the end of the journey or during the journey. And therefore, again, become a motivational point to keep scaling the application bigger, better, and to the next level.
Definitely. I think that's a really insightful perspective. It's really important to balance between the immediate wins and long-term growth potential. And scalability isn't just about handling more volume. I think it's about building adaptable, flexible systems that can evolve with the business, the market, as well as the customers. Because I think often organizations jump straight to the tech without focusing on their external as well as internal environments, including the processes and culture. And that's where digital transformation initiatives hits roadblocks. So it's building more smarter and leaner systems that can open up the space for innovation. And I'm glad that you brought out that so well in your responses. So we have been talking about a digital transformation, and of course it's a very strategic imperative for organizations who want to stay competitive and relevant in today's rapidly evolving business landscape. However, the journey towards digital transformation is often fraught with challenges that demand careful navigation. One being, I think, data management, because when you're talking about digital transformation, I mean, data management is something that really comes along with it in the entire process. So data management, of course, it presents a number of challenges. You have to maintain data quality, data security. You have to integrate data from multiple sources. And of course, this growing data volumes and complying and with regulations. So these challenges affect how effectively organizations can use data for their analytics as well as a decision-making process. So, what are some of the biggest data management challenges that you have encountered during digital transformation, probably working with your clients, and how did you solve them?
Right, very interesting question. Looking at, and I'll go back to my e-commerce example, where there are multiple entities which are doing the same or a part of the same transaction. So if you went and purchased something, you first put in your credit card over there, or you paid through UPI. So it went to the UPI platform. You put in a PIN or a password, or you got an OTP from somewhere. So all these, and again, this is just one part of the transaction. I've not even begun where the delivery man picks up the piece from the warehouse and puts it in a van and starts delivering it to your house. So even every component of that transaction requires data, is and there's a lot of data getting generated. There has to be a proper interchange of data. Now the challenge there is that each system is uniquely different. So UPI will have its own platform. Similarly, the e-commerce engine will have its own platform. The company which sends you an OTP or for your credit card has another platform. So that data inconsistency, I feel, is one of the biggest challenges. And connecting these together will form a great solution and a great experience for the user. So that needs to be solved. And again, it's being solved with various things, and I'll cover that as we talk further. Second is legacy system. So I'll come back to the e-commerce example where you have this warehouse which is running a legacy system for delivery, which means they don't have a system which knows where what needs to be picked up. They get printouts and somebody goes. So those legacy systems become a big challenge. They also delay the entire process, and therefore that needs to be checked and fixed. And finally, lack of real-time processing. Again, the warehouse does, if it does not have real-time processing, if it does not have that engine which connects to the order which came on board, it's going to be a huge challenge to complete. And these are basically challenges with data management which need to be integrated. There are various solutions for that. So APIs is the standard one. UPI has a standard API which we can call, and we can continuously send and receive data. Similarly, the OTP provider. Warehousing, there are ready-made systems which are deployed today. They have drones, they have automated warehouses which can get integrated. So the solutions are out there. The only thing is that they need to consistently send data to each other. They need to be able to integrate with each other. That I feel is the solution right here. Finally, from a security standpoint, and when we talk about money, we talk about e-commerce payments that comes in. So there's encryption which happens. There's different audit mechanisms which can be deployed to make sure that the data is consistently coming into the system and is verifiable, reusable, and also is meaningful at the end of the day. So these are a few things. Finally, what I'm really excited about with technology systems is the real-time dashboards and analytics which you can get today. So you could be monitoring every parcel which goes out on an e-commerce. I love the e-commerce example because it's got everything in it, right from payments to delivery. So you're able to monitor where that truck is while it's being delivered to your house. So therefore, those real-time analytics and dashboards, I feel, are a great solution to make sure that the data inconsistency which is there can be properly tracked, corrected at that point in time, so that future systems that connect to the same data give you the same output and are useful and meaningful to all the users using it. So these are pretty much some of the solutions that we've implemented in the past for various customers, right from BFSI, e-commerce, logistics, and others, which we do a lot of work for today. And it successfully worked for them, integrating all their applications together, giving meaningful dashboards, and getting details on the errors or getting details on some of the data silos because of which there's inconsistent data which is collected.
Definitely, I really liked your example of the e-commerce, real-time tracking with those solutions and software. And of course, when you're ordering something and now you're so used to these solutions that the moment you don't have control over your data, or you can't track any single aspect of your order or purchase, it kinds of makes you anxious, and you're trying to figure out, oh, what went wrong or where exactly is my order. So I think all of the situations that are changing right now in terms of how you're able to, track or how customers are able to have control over the data progress or the purchase progress. I think it's fostering a culture of accountability around data, because after all, data is only as powerful as the action it enables. So, thank you for sharing that experience. I think it really brings home the point that data management isn't just a one-time project. It is a very evolving discipline, and it defines how organizations can grow in the digital age. And I'm sure in the future, in the coming years, we might see more developments in this particular area. And of course, it's pretty exciting for me as well, if we talk about it. Moving ahead, we mentioned about, I mean, you spoke about earlier in that, you guys are also working around artificial intelligence and machine learning. You started with web designing projects and UI UX projects. I think, emerging technologies like AI or IoT, even quantum computing, which is, I think, still in its development phase, they're kind of fundamentally reshaping the landscape of digital transformation, because I believe that these technologies are not merely external accelerators or tools that can be used when it's just convenient, but I think they're becoming more essential elements of business operations across each industry, I feel. Name it, whether it's healthcare, whether it's telecom or automobile logistics. I think they're playing a very important role here in terms of changing expectations, both sides. I mean, I think of all the stakeholders involved, I believe. So I want to understand, what role do you think these emerging technologies, whether AI or IoT, even cloud, play in accelerating innovation at your organization?
We've been hearing a lot on AI and cloud and IoT as well. All those three, they play a very important role combined together. So, cloud allows you to scale, unlimited scale. It reduces your costs to scale. It also gives you the ability to do more with the same infrastructure. It gives you the ability to share that infrastructure with other applications which may need at that point in time. So cloud is a very, very big, for lack of a better word, dependency which has to be there as a part in your organization if you want to scale. You have to make sure you adopt cloud either on-prem, off-prem, or the public clouds to ensure that your applications are scalable. Then comes AI. So AI is a very interesting journey ahead because it's evolving as we speak. You hear new things that are happening and that AI is learning and which are being used by mankind today. Automation of tasks which otherwise used to take weeks, months, days, hours, in matter of seconds, I feel can change the way we do our work, the way we take decisions, and the way you can really save money in your organization at the end of the day. It can also help you analyze data faster than what a human could, which is good and bad. Good because, again, there will be a human element to making sure that decisions are taken, whether you're driving a driverless car or otherwise, they still need you to hold the steering wheel and it doesn't automatically drive. So that decision making becomes better and faster because AI is giving you a dashboard of options which otherwise would take you probably hours for your brain to process. So it's cutting off that timeline in helping you decide, and therefore again that predictive analytics which comes on board to help you decide faster allows you to be much more efficient and create a decision which is faster and more predictable and much better than what you would have otherwise. Finally, the most important part of AI, I feel, which I think is playing a very important role, is personalization. So when we look at customers, everybody wants to personalize a part of what they see. I may want to see XYZ on my dashboard. You may want to see ABC on your dashboard. And we may take the same decision. That personalization basically is role based, and AI allows us to do that. It allows the personalization to be based on the person, his role, and the decision that he's got to take. So it allows finally intelligent decision making, as I call it, to be taken based on data that is analyzed and automated for the user at the end of the day. And again, these decisions are also being captured. So at some point in time, AI will probably go one step forward and start taking some basic decisions which were coming to humans to take, which is good and will allow you to free up your workforce's time to do much better work than just keep doing routine work. Finally, I think the important element which enables, or rather, which is the last mile on any implementation, is IoT. IoT has been around for some time. Everything that we talk of today talks to each other, whether it's a car, it's a mobile, it's your television, and or it's the sensor which is in a drone, or it's the camera in your drone, or it's a camera in your phone. So all these IoT devices which combine together are collecting data. They give you real time information on what's happening at that point in time at that location, and they can be uniquely designed in a way depending on what your industry is, whether you're a manufacturer, whether you're in healthcare, whether you're in logistics, or whether you're just a simple e-commerce player using some of these elements together. So those real-time insights are possible only because of these little devices which are collecting data and sitting there and continuously populating information into the systems for AI to decide, for humans to decide, and basically give you a much better experience than what you would have had otherwise. So in the logistics industry, for example, and very interesting example, I love this one, is there are tools which allow you to measure how much gas or how much petrol or diesel you have in your tank. They also allow you, these are small devices in the thing. Now, this combined with the kilometer usage of the vehicle allows you to take a decision on whether the engine is working efficiently or not. So you may analyze that, this vehicle, which is 3 tons, is going to travel 6 kilometers in maybe 1 liter of gas, but it doesn't do that. It's probably going further, which means it's optimized, and therefore the other vehicles need to be optimized. This data allows you to decide and take calls on what you need to do, how you need to improve, and therefore that IoT component is one of the most important pieces in the entire ecosystem of AI, cloud, and otherwise. That's where you get all the data in, and combined together, it's a superpower put together into your systems, into your solutions, into your digital transformation journey.
Absolutely. I think when we are talking about operational shifts or changing or adjusting as per these emerging new technologies, I think it highlights both opportunities as well as challenges. Of course, I think what stands out to me is that it's not just about technology adoption just for the sake of it, but it's about unlocking new ways of thinking, working, and serving customers better. And I think true innovation happens when technology aligns with a clear purpose and a culture of experimentation. So, thank you for that insights. I think that really brings to life how emerging technologies can create both immediate efficiencies and long term strategic advantages as well. Now, talking about the flip side of the digital landscape, I think data privacy and security have become paramount concerns for organizations and individuals alike, because as companies are embracing digital initiatives to enhance their efficiency and drive innovation, the volume of data generated, processed, and stored has increased exponentially. This surge in data has brought about some, of course, unprecedented opportunities, but also significant challenges, particularly in ensuring sensitive information and how we can keep them secure and private. So when we will be focusing on scaling our digital transformation initiatives, how do you think companies can ensure privacy, compliance, ethical tech deployment? And looking ahead in the coming years, how do you see the entire scenario will change, or what are certain trends that will take place in the digital transformation era?
Okay, so that's a very interesting question, and a lot of people are very, very scared, or they don't know because they're giving out data. They assume that. So you hear a lot that there's AI, there's Alexa and Siri who are listening to everything that we speak and talk, and everybody has either an Android phone or an iOS phone. And they're particularly disturbed or concerned that there's a lot of information flowing from there. However, from an organizational standpoint, ethical AI guidelines can easily be implemented within the application to ensure that data is flowing and collected in a particular way. and that it can be shared and viewed by only specific set of people or specific set of applications which require them. You don't need to be sharing the entire information that you've collected out of your applications. There also are certain review boards which are created to basically monitor whether the algorithm is fair, and there's transparency in how it's being processed, how the data is being stored. Is it secure, insecure? If it's insecure, we need to make sure that it's secured. It can be stored in various ways to ensure that the privacy is completely maintained. There are very standard tools available today which can be used to review your policies and also redesign your policies for data privacy, and which is what every organization should implement. You have to start right, so that you don't have to keep fixing it. But in your journey, there will be moments where data could be exposed, and therefore, by design, you have to ensure that the data is secure for your users, for your applications, and the interchange between different applications that's happening. Right. Finally, my only message here is that when you start designing your platforms and products, make sure that you spend time on incorporating specific data privacy by design into the application. Otherwise, it could be very difficult to redevelop the applications, recollect the data, make sure the data is syncing. So when you begin right, do the right research, and automatically your data is going to be secure and compliant. And if you're already in that journey where you're facing challenges, then as I said before, there are tools and consultants who are continuously available to do audits, testing, and training within your organization, so that you're able to capture these gaps and then create plans to fulfill the gaps and make sure that your data remains secure forever. So that's pretty much what my thoughts are on that.
Definitely, it makes a lot of sense, Nishant. And when we are talking about digital transformation initiatives, I think the potential here is massive. We are talking about a multi-trillion-dollar opportunity globally. With India, if we talk alone, it's poised to see digital economic contributions of up to $1 trillion by 26. And we are not talking about unicorns or tech startups here. This is about traditional industries too, whether it's manufacturing, BFSI, healthcare, all of them are standing on the edge of transformational opportunities. So I think by building systems that adapt, grow, and thrive under pressure, organizations not only future proof themselves, they unlock new value, create better experiences, and redefine what's possible. Well, thank you so much, Nishan, for taking the time and effort to be on a podcast today and helping us understand that scalability isn't just about growth, it's about building more intelligent and adaptable systems with the digital transformation scalability mindset. I think it's important that it prepares businesses to thrive against the volatility, innovate continuously, and lead confidently. So, thank you so much. It was pleasure to have you on a podcast today. It was lovely chatting with you, Nishant.
Right. Thank you so much for having me.
Great. Thank you so much. So this is for our listeners. I hope you enjoyed today's episode and you had some insights to take away that you can implement in your daily routine. Nevertheless, stay tuned for our upcoming podcast, and you can view all our previous podcasts on Spotify and other leading platforms. Thank you so much.